Good afternoon. We're starting again. We got three more, and we're gonna start off with this one built to my right. His name is Jason Daniels. His mother was the matriarch from this morning, Doreen Daniels. So we'll start off with Jason talking to you.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'd like to say thank you for inviting me here. They approached me up protocol with the tobacco to explain some stories for you, upbringing, past experiences through elders, through ceremonial leaders, language, and with the protocol they gave me here with the tobacco, as you see here, is very sacred to us First Nations people, our native way, especially in the Cree country, the Cree heritage, wisdom, knowledge, our ancestors that left us stories, generations carry on stories to speak about, talk about, songs. Not only stories, but there's songs that go with it. Some say old men talk or old women talk. Some say creator stories. Some say that. And all along, it's going to be how you take it to our next generation, our future, your children, your great-grandchildren, how well you're going to carry on with the stories and how well it'll help you in today's society, today's life. Some of the stories might sound a little foolish, might have a lot of meaning. Some will make you laugh. Some will make you wonder. Some will make you think. Make you think till you're an old man or an old lady. But some way, somehow, hopefully, all the elders that are speaking with hope that they carry on their way of tongue and the stories they're sharing with you. Maybe their life story, maybe what they were told, or maybe they got in trouble one time and an elder spoke up and said things here and there to understand the greater power. Here and now with the tobacco they gave me, I'm a little puzzled because the language I come to speak is Cree, and if I spoke in Cree, it's mainly the adults and the older people to understand. So where I'm kind of mixed up is the young people. They don't really understand the language. So I'm going to try my best to explain in English because of the way of living we are at the moment. So I feel kind of bad going against my own culture, my own native language. I cry inside. I can't speak to you, young people. I hear many elders cry because they don't understand our language. It's very important. It's very important. I hope one day a whole generation will gather our our language back again, liven it up again through song and dance and language and stories to speak in our tongue. One day in the future, you, us, where we're at, you young people, you are our generation, you are our future. So, all along, over time, there's going to be areas in life, experiences that an elder, a spiritual leader, or else the chief, or else a counselor, or else a teacher at school, or else the principal is going to explain a thing or two, what's right and wrong, and what it is, and how it is, how to achieve what you need in life. So one in an experience of yourself, it's kind of like you're told to say, one day they'll give you tobacco and say, oh, go sing a song at a round dance, hopefully, or maybe at the powwow, hopefully, maybe, or maybe at the Sundance or the Sweat Lodge. They ask you and give you tobacco. You can't say no. You have to try and learn a song. If you know a song, sing it. So there's many lead singers. There's many singers that I come across. I'm myself fortunate to sing many songs for different ceremonies. And a lot of it, there's a lot of stories behind it. How to be a role model. Even for the women folks, they are singers too as well. They have protocols to follow, to sing behind a man or their father, their grandfather. Songs that are passed down to them, onto the children, grandchildren. Some of those songs might be still alive to this day. And hopefully they'll last for the next generations to come. And the stories as well, and our languages, our ceremonial ways. Uh, when you're asked to sing, like at times, you might feel like, oh, I'm not a good singer. I want to give up. In the mind here, on one hand, you'll feel like I sound ugly. I don't. It doesn't feel right. Uh, how come they didn't ask that other good singer to sing? I'm just starting off. That's how you'll feel in a mind, in a heart. On the other hand, uh, pay attention. And when you pay attention and you remember that song, practice the song, and you sing it how you practice. And you sing it, and they say, the elderly or the ceremonial, they'll say, carry on, you're a good singer. So the challenge on one hand, on the other hand, is you didn't want to sing. You sounded ugly. So on one hand, that person there, you have to try and push that person aside in order for things to correct with these stories. These stories are go far back as creation, how it started, why, how come, they're there, how come we're not practicing it? Because we have a lot of misunderstanding, but some way, somehow, with the right knowledge and the right wisdom, we do have wisdom, we have knowledge in our ceremonies, we have knowledge and songs. It all portrays to the Great Spirit. Some call the Great Spirit God, the Creator. And they talk about the angels, Mustaganak, meaning the four directions, Newiak. So some people, some elders, they'll say Gawi Noaski, Mother Earth. Well, and in the creation story, it's called Askimatsuin, earth living. We live with everything on earth, Askimatsuin. So we walk on this earth, our journey to learn, to know, not to be lazy and be stubborn, not to listen. Don't do that. It's, it's not good to do that. Many elders, they talk about stories in that form. There's many stories on one hand. On the other hand, they say that how God had spoke to the holy beings, Mustaganak. From there now, we lost that connection. Not even 100 years ago or 125 years ago, after the Treaty of the Signings, we lost a lot of information. There's a pause. So we're just inches away from our history. Our stories are there still. But with this new technology, some way, somehow, it'll carry on through. Some way, somehow. Here and now is not a ceremonial place. It's a place where it's given tobacco at any given time to speak about anything that is what it is need to be said. There's many stories of man and a woman way, how it is to be an elder, how it is to be an old person. Many people get mixed up with an elder. What is an elder? Who is an elder? An elder is the one that sits in the lodge ceremonies, the ceremonial places. After that, he's an old person, just like every one of them. They call them old ones. But if they sit in a ceremony and pray with their pipe, light the sweetgrass, and they're going to pray, that's the ones that pray are the ones that are elders. Some have knowledge, some have wisdom, some will share it, will acknowledge that. Some way, somehow, you have to carry on with the words. Some way, somehow, our culture, our way of life has to enhance. There's many things to learn, upbringing. There's daytime teachings, there's nighttime teachings. There's a lot of things that there's even a staff, how a staff is to be, a wapahan, a staff. Also, a staff for the home, where it has 50 little dots on a staff, meaning 50 different laws that we follow by, teachings. Many of the elders talk about, it seems like it's the same thing they're talking about. Same thing, because it's those 50 laws they were trained, upbringing. They had stories. Some stories are good, some are bad because of the day school, residential school, that area where even the treaties. There's a lot of things that happen there. There is even a pause that we couldn't practice our ceremonial ways. There, somewhere there, we couldn't even speak our native tongue. Some way, somehow, it stayed alive. We're just in a verge of hanging on with our culture. and the songs and the ceremonial ways. Some way, somehow, and carry on. Carry on to what you know. We are here. As long as we're here, we'll guide you. We'll help you. As long as we're still here. Yeah. There's so many, like I said, there's so many stories. Even when they have pipe ceremonies, some people they pray in a certain direction. So in this area they talk about Jagapel. Jagapel is one the story of this Jagapel. How he changed mankind on earth here. What he had done for us Indian people. His encouragement, maybe it'll help. Hope, like I said, hope. Back in the day when he was young, it sounds better in a Cree language, but I'll try my best to explain it in English. Jagapel, when he was young, they had in their area when he was young, there was a scariest time about Bigfoot, Sasquatch they call him. There's many stories that go on, branch out from this story, this origin story. That time it was scariest. That time, some of the teachings that you come to know. Why? How come we can't whistle at night? How come we can't get mad at night? How come we can't make too much noise at nighttime? These are the same stories Jagapel had to live through. It was that time there was Bigfoot. There was 4 clans of Bigfoots. So at nighttime, they fed. As many stories go on, where these stories come up from my parents, grandparents. They talk about these things to us at a young age, growing up. How to turn that pipe, that one direction, Jagapel. If you ever sit in a pipe ceremony, you might hear that word. Or else you might be in a feast, or else in a Sundance, or else in any ceremony, maybe a smoke lodge, or at a powwow, round dance. That direction, sometimes they use that. Why am I talking about Jagapel? Because a lot of people, they get mixed up who's a trickster and who's not, because they believe that Wisaki-chak is a trickster. But what about Jagapel? Jagapel was more like a trickster. As I continue with the story, that's how much we lost our culture. That's how much we lost in our stories. Jagapel, that time, how these Bigfoots fed, ate, survived was through human skull, hair, skin to survive. At night times, they were told not to make a noise. Couldn't yell, couldn't whistle, get mad. You had to sit quietly at night times. I guess that's where the prayer starts from, to pray at night. There's, like I said, there's night teachings. This is one of the night teachings. There's daytime stories with Chagapel. As I go on with the story with Chagapel, at the Bigfoot, those clans, they ate human beings. It was a pandemic. They lost people, many people, a lot of people. They almost wiped out our race as us Indian people. Chagapel had an older sister. They talk about a skeek, a pail, an iron pail. That one day, Chagapel asked her sister, can I borrow that pail, the handle of that pail?" The older sister said, "No, you can't." Days go on after that, after he was told. But Jagapel was determined to get that bow from that pail. He seen it as a bow, but it was in a pail. It was strange. Why did he want that? And Jagapel, along the way, because he had this drive, because he lost his parents, his mom, his dad, even his kukum, his mushum, his chapan. He wanted answers. He wanted to know where they were. He wanted to see them again. He had nowhere to start, no one to ask. Only one to ask was a sister, older sister. And the older sister told him many stories, what happened. But Chagape wasn't satisfied. He wanted the truth. He didn't want to believe her older sister, but yet the pandemic was the Bigfoots. They were taking our people from our land. At those times, it was scary. That time here, there was a mountain here, right across almost Saskatchewan here, in this plains land. There in Colorado, there's a mountain that's cut off, and the other end of the mountain is right on the other side, northeast from here, the end of the mountain. Those old people, they were trying to get somehow to fight this battle with these Bigfoot. So the old people, what they did was move this whole mountain with faith. They moved this mountain, and they placed it far into the west from here. There, they thought they would have a chance that the Bigfoots won't hurt our people anymore, take away our loved ones. So with that faith, that mountain was moved. Today, it's a big gap here in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta. Those old people got all those 4 clans of Bigfoots all in one area and moved it to the far east, where it's called British Columbia, BC. Some of the stories here on this Plains Cree, a skimatsu, and some history That's history. You need to talk about those things. Many of our elders forgot that. That's why I'm explaining this today. That mountain was moved there for a purpose. Some elders, they don't know that. Like I said, who's really an elder and who isn't? Some that are lodge keepers, I think those are the real elders that actually sit in a ceremony and actually come out to explain. They have more understanding. And the ones that they say elders, they talk about their life experience, just their life experience. So you have to define who you are. This explains how powerful a family tree is, how to hold on to our ceremonial ways. So hope, like I said, hope you're listening, you're hearing. I hope you carry this on to your children, to your grandchildren. You know, when that mountain was moved, Jagapil had a passion to find his parents. His kukum, mushum, his chapan. Now one day, sister, I need that. I need that pail. I need that handle. He kept on asking. Soon later, her sister, okay, I'll take this off. That pail is a different story, a creation story of woman. I'm talking about Jagapil. Just that little handle, he took it. He was placed to his sister, gave it to her, his younger brother. So he took that iron bow. He called it a bow. Yeah, I can do this. At the same time, Jagapil didn't know he had powers. But yet his goal was to find his mom and dad. But revenge is not a good thing, but a passion to find out what is right is a different story. This passion that he had, the love for his parents and grandparents, his chapan. He went on practicing what he was told. He never gave up, no matter how many times he was told, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. Now today, many young people, they say that, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. Let's take a look on Chagapil, what he did. That's why I'm talking about this story. Hopefully I can build that courage within you. So the time when he made up his mind, that little handle that he had, he made a bow. He made arrows out of it. When he was done thinking, when he said that to himself, in Cree, he spoke like that because that was the language then. He made up his mind what he was going to do. That's what it means, ikisita. So he got ready. He left early morning. He walked far where the sun goes down, where those old people moved that mountain. He walked through there. He was only a little boy. I asked my parents, grandparents, well, how young was he when he walked up there? They say he was pretty young. So I'm pretty sure about 5, 6, 7 years old, going against Bigfoot. So I was amazed with the story when I heard it when I was young. So he carried on. He walked up, didn't know where he was going, but he knew where the mountain was to go. He just went straight, right in the middle of that mountain, just straight. And many stories to this day, many believe that the spirit of Bigfoot will never be found, or be of many people in this Plains Cree area. Back then, they said they can't find him. But the only person of all human beings was Chakapeo. Was the only one that got to tell this story. This story comes from him in his area. He become a legend. He become a legend in our ceremonies. A way of turning one side of the pipe, not everything, but one area. That's another story with a different tobacco. When he approached that mountain now, he went up. It took him days. He prayed, he sang. As he sang, Bigfoots, they heard that sound. They hear everything, so you have to be quiet. He was told, don't get mad, they'll come around faster. Don't whistle. He was told that where he was living in the teepees in the plains area, Cree country. So when he went up that mountain, that's what he did. He got mad. Where are you? Come out. I'm not afraid of you. He's a young boy. So he knew that, but he was testing the faith of just simple words. I think these old people are lying to me. But he went up the mountains. He started yelling around, getting mad. Pretty soon, he didn't even see them coming. He didn't even know that he knew they were there, but he didn't know he was surrounded already by then when he was getting mad. When they finally appeared to him, it was deep in the mountains. And when he, what they described that time when he was there, it was a mere image, just like nothing was there. He got mad and started singing and saying all kinds of stuff. Where are you, Bigfoot? You know, Sasquatch. He was saying these all in Cree. If you're not that powerful like the old people said. Boy, he said some things that aggravated them. And they appeared in thin air. And Chagapeo took a couple steps back. Holy smokes, these old people are right. They're right. I thought they were just making it up. So he took a couple steps back as a young guy. Holy smokes. And then he didn't know what to do. He startled and trying to grab his bow and his arrow, getting panicky now because he was surrounded by the Bigfoots. He didn't know what to do. But he had a goal. He remembered that. He wanted to leave. He was so scared. He spoke, hey, I'm here. The reason why I come here, I want to know where my mom and dad are. My grandparents. My Chapan. Where are they? he asked. I guess, what my parents were trying to tell me, those stories that time, and many elders that relate to this story about this, there's different stories that come from there now, branch out to where it is. So this one spot of this story. So he got up. I want my mom and dad's hair, my grandparents. I want it. The one spoke out. Huh? He was told, huh? What do you want? How come you come here? You're not supposed to be here. You know, we can eat you right here, right now. We haven't had our supper yet. We didn't eat yet today. When you look delicious. I guess he was the head honcho of the Bigfoots. He spoke up. He was the most tallest of all Bigfoots. Some say Sasquatch, like that. Some stories you hear maybe different words, like that. I'm just going to relate it to one word, Bigfoot. So he spoke up. Hey, we're going to go down. We're going to go eat. We're going to go feast. We're going to have our ceremony when we have these people. We bring these humans. We put them here in this altar. How we have ceremonies, they have that. Just like they have here, this sweetgrass. Well, some elders, they believe the smudge to start off their prayer, their stories, or their ceremony. They do it with human beings. So we have to try and understand, us human beings, who are we dealing with here? What's going on here? How come these stories kind of sound funny? That's where Jagabe was stuck. And then he finally realized the elders were telling him the truth. And he was scratching his head at those times there, wondering, well, what do I do next now? They're the ones that know. He wanted to take off, get scared, go home. He had no home. He had no parents. So he had to finish what he had to do. He said something, he had to fulfill it. So that time, Jagapeo said, I want this. I want that. I want this hair. The Bigfoot said, hey, do you realize how powerful I am? He was told. You don't even realize how powerful I am. Jagapeo just got angry, really angry, grabbed that arrow. I'm powerful too. You don't even know it. He was just a boy. Try getting mad at the Sasquatch. The only way he can see them is he has to stay mad. So he grabbed his little arrow and pointed to the tree. When you're in the mountains, you see real big trees, like pine trees that are real huge. So he grabbed it. He shot it. Bang! That tree split apart. That Bigfoot, huh? Still, you don't realize how powerful I am. Why, Jagapeo. Oh, this Sasquatch. Hey, you see that mountain there? He pointed to that mountain. I'll split that mountain with this arrow just to see how powerful I am. That no matter if I'm a man, a teenager, I'm just a boy, he said. I'm a boy. I have powers. So he grabbed his arrow again. Look. He shot to that rock. That rock split right in half. Now that Bigfoot, you're surprised. He said, oh, holy smokes. Who are you? Who sent you? Chagapel didn't say a word. All he can think about is his mom and dad's hair, his mushroom, kukum. I want those. I need them back. I want to know where they are because I want to talk to them. He had that back of his mind. Meanwhile, Bigfoot, who are you? I don't know what you're here for, but I'm gonna eat you. We're gonna have a feast here. Hey, prepare the ceremony. They're going to have, I guess, maybe a ritual or something, but they're going to have their lunch, their supper. They're going to eat them. Because the way he talked, the way they are, he wanted to be with his parents. So they're going to eat it, take his hair to be with his parents. So Chagape wasn't there for that, to die or to get killed. But he was there to get hair. Wanted to know that. So now he was scared for his life because they were preparing they were going to eat him. He was scared. So that Bigfoot was ready to grab him. He was just going down. He was going to grab him. And his little bow. Like I said, he had little powers. He had powers. He split the rock, wood. So that little bow that he had, Bigfoot grabbed his hand and reached. With that bow, he snapped the hand, the arm of the Bigfoot. He was the chief of all Bigfoots. And after that, his hand was dingling. And then the Bigfoot was thinking, oh my goodness, I can't move my arm. And he was moving his arm, going like that. And then the clans of the Bigfoots were laughing at him because he was supposed to be the fiercest, the strongest, the toughest Bigfoot. He had to hold his pride. So he grabbed his strong side now. Trying to grab Chagapeo. He grabbed him. Chagapeo did the same thing. So he was standing with no arms. His arms were broken. He was dingling. And the chief said, you guys come, you guys come go around this boy, grab him. I can't move my arms. As he went down like this, Chagapeo seen that. His mom and dad, his kuko, mushroom, chapan, their hair was right in his chest where the heart area was. So Bigfoot's arms were like this at the same time. Chagapeo grabbed that arrow, his bow, and grabbed it. I need those hair. That's why I come here. He said, see this arrow? He said, this one. I'm going to shoot it. And I'm going to wipe every one of them here in a circle. Bigfoot, ha, 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 ha. I can't see that happening. I don't think you're that strong, that powerful. Anything's possible when you believe the Creator God. So Chagapeo believed really strongly in faith, grabbed that arrow, shot it, prayed to it, to go through all these Bigfoots that he doesn't stand a chance to survive. So he shot that arrow, closed his eyes and prayed. What he was told by the Great Spirit to hold his hand up on top. Close his eyes. When you open, that arrow will be in your hand, he was told. So he did that. At the same time, back of his mind, he was thinking, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think, no, it's not going to happen. But I guess that's part of us in life here. We get that way. We're not good enough. So someone has to give us that boost, just to encourage us to be or to get through something in life. You know, Jagabel is in that area at that time. You know, when they say creation stories, who created this? Oh, Jagabel created this for us. You know, when that arrow came back to him, he opened his eyes and looked around. All the 4 clans of Sasquatch was wiped out with one arrow. Then Jagabel told to the head chief of Bigfoot, "Who's going to eat me? You? 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 I have this arrow," he said. He was real proud and strong, talking brave now. He is the only man can do that. He said, "I have this arrow. I come here. You said you have powers. Not against this." He said, "Not against this one. You don't have powers over this." So he said, he said, "I know there's 2 or 3 on the other side of that mountain, Bigfoots. But here now," he said, "I'm here to grab my mom, my dad, my kukum, my mushroom's hair." And he said, and he let go of that arrow and hit him right in the chest. When at that time that the hair just fell off that person, all the hair, all the hair. So he ran right away. As soon as he was down, he went and grabbed his mom and dad's hair. He lifted it up in the sky. "Hey, hey, thank you. Thank you. I finally got my mom and dad. I can talk to them now. I can speak to them now. I don't have to be scared of these Sasquatches anymore, these Bigfoots anymore." So he had them. He had a pouch. He put it there. That story when he got the hair, as soon as he used his little knife, nowadays you can't use a knife. But at a young age, a long time ago, we had to learn how to use a knife. So he had a knife. He cut the hair. As soon as he cut the hair, that Sasquatch hair fell off. How it looked. He had black eyes here, black around his eyes, black around his mouth, around here, and everything else white. To this day, some of the elders talk about stories. Take care of your hair. If you don't take care of your hair, your ancestral root, it must be over there. Your scalp is over there still. A lot of these stories come from there, even to this day. How did Chagapeo change life of here on planet Earth from that day? How powerful is this Sasquatch? You look at it this present day. You have our relatives. You drive around town. You see a skeleton. You see that? Black eyes, mouth. They celebrate Halloween like that. Winter time, Frosty the Snowman. And when you look at women to this day, they have makeup. They draw themselves here, color themselves black. Sometimes black lips when you listen to music on maybe on the internet, you see rock and roll people have black lips, black eyes, and stuff like that. Where did that? Where did if you see that, their hair is up over there with those Sasquatch, those Bigfoots. Think about it. Why do we have glasses? Kind of symbolic to where our ancestral roots are. Why is our ceremonial teachings, our stories, really important to carry on? I just wanted to share just this one alone, so you can carry on our culture in the future. Your children, your grandchildren. While I'm here at the moment speaking to you. You know, when Chagapel came down that mountain, he came down. When he came down, his sister was very upset. But that era was gone forever. That pandemic was over. But every once in a while, you might hear a person missing to this day. You have a reason. Why are they missing? They feed off humans. You have to remember that. Our hair, our skin, that's their survival. So when you were now to this day in town, when you see missing people, you need to think about it. Not once, twice, maybe 3 times. Some of these elders know that story. Many pipe carriers know the story. Some elders don't even know the story because they don't have a pipe. So you have to understand. When they say trying to understand, well, I'm trying to explain the best. Like I said, it sounds better in Cree. I'm trying my best to speak in English the best way I know how. Maybe not educational, big words, but some simple words to understand, to relate to where you're at. But here and now, with Jagapil, when he came down, there's a ceremony they had. They call it ghost dance, where they honor the hair, where there's teachings that we have to look after our hair. My chapan told my grandma, my mom, related down to us, keep your hair, put it in a ball. One day you grab enough, you go put it by the fire, so no one will bother your mind or control you. Maybe that'll be a teaching to save your future, your children, grandchildren. We don't know what tools you need in the future, but hopefully this little tool, this little story, and just that one part in a ceremony where they pray to Chagapel, just one area when he was about 5 to 7 years old. I could be wrong, but I could be right. Maybe at 6, age of 6, where the story came. So you have a story to tell. Somewhere down the line, you might need that. You will need that. You will have to remember that. After, when he came back, he learned there was a north fire and a south fire. So it stems out to our ceremonial practices today. That's another story itself. That's one of the branch of one of these creation stories of one little boy named Jagapil. Here and now, they gave me this tobacco to speak of something about this month. Even this month, the story month. February, there's called the eagle moon. How the eagles mated and have a lifetime partner. So there's man teachings and woman teachings. Some of them will talk about the moon, how it relates to the sun, how it become a star, morning star, how that star has four directions: Neoyak, morning star, day star, evening star, the north star. Sometimes when you go to powwows, to add on to Jagapeo's story, when they have black out. Like I said, Jagapeo changed life. You see traditional dancers paint in black paint here over their eyes. Check it out. See if I'm lying. Some of these stories, you have to be next to almost correct. Not perfect, but correct. But for now, you have a nice day. I'll stop. I'll stop there with that Jacapio story because it's lengthy. You can talk about it days in and night about him, about his survival in life here on Plains Cree, the history. There's one of the histories of this land, us Cree people. So many of us, many people at my age or older, barely know that story. But I wanted to share that upseas a little bit, not lots, just a little bit. It's just a fraction. There's more if you pay attention more. Ego se, you guys have a good afternoon. Hi, hi.
Kananaskum Tenebito, and I'd like to thank Jason Daniels for sharing that story about Jacapel. Some of the older folks have heard about it. Jacapel, that was, yeah, that's Gus. Kind of, it's a Natayuke one, it's a spiritual story. Because we have a Mr. Bell in there too.
That's him. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets on bigger. But anyways, I'd like to thank Jason again. And then we're going to have two more ladies. And that'll be it for the day. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hi, hi.
Bye. Hey, ladies.
Nice.
Sama, good afternoon again, boys and girls, students. Me and my cousin are here to tell a little bit of the stories, and I really enjoyed the stories that previous storytellers told this morning and this afternoon. I just wanted to. I was listening to my son here, Jason, about the hair, and I thought, okay, I wanted to talk about it a little bit of it. What my great grandma used to talk about hair. Like my grandson, he's 10 years old and his hair is way past his knees. He has never cut his hair ever since he was born. And when Jason was talking about that, I was thought, okay, this is what my great grandma always said. When your children grow their hair that long, very long, that that hair, as long as it is, that's how long their life is going to be. And that's where that your hair life lies, is on there. So she used to say, when your children are growing their hair, don't cut it. That's their lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
And I always take care of his hair. And little kids were laughing at him when he was going to a school in a white school because of his hair. And he called me one time. He said, "Grandma, I want to cut my hair because they keep laughing at me." And then I sat him down and I said, this is what my great grandma told us. I said, I want you to understand, and I don't want you to be ashamed of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're native, and you should be proud of who you are. And he quit thinking like that he was going to cut his hair. But the part where even Jason said that, you when I brush his hair, even my hair, I brush his hair, I put it in a ball, and I put it in a bag. And we haven't burnt the hair yet, but we usually burn it once a year. But no kidding, like that, the hair we have is like a big bag of his hair, my hair. And I said, Granny, I said, your great grandma always said, never to throw your hair away in the garbage. Put it in a ball, put it away, and then when it's time, burn it.
Mm-hmm.
And because what happens when you just let your hair lay around or throw it away in the garbage? Snakes, they'll gather that and they'll make a big nest out of it. And then your hair will start falling. You can't control your hair from falling because of the snake that bothers it. And I told him about a couple months ago. I said, Manny, I said, come here. I want to show you something. So I pulled out that hair, a big bag of our hair. I said, this is what that snake can do to our hair. Make a big nest, a big bundle,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll end up losing our hair. That was one thing I wanted to express when our son Jason was talking about it. There's good stories, but because of the time, I'd like to use my own language, but I know the students, half of them, they don't, they can't speak our language yet, but they're trying, and I praise them for trying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I can only express my stories to how I grew up. Knowing how I grew up. I grew up with elders. Like we had a lot of elders when I was a young girl. Oh, a lot. And they used to come and visit all the time. They enjoyed visiting us. And it was a treat for us because we know they were so knowledgeable. They lived this world much longer than us. And that's what my dad always said. Don't laugh at elders when they talk to you guys. They've been here long, long, long before you did. They know what they're talking about. So a lot of times the elders would come and visit, and then right away my mom would start cooking, And us would all gather around where the elders and we'd sit on the floor and we'd start listening, just like that was our TV. We didn't have TV, we didn't have radio, we didn't have electricity, nothing. But the most person that I really enjoyed watching was late Harry Brabant. Man, he had a lot of knowledge of whatever. He knew everything, a lot of things, and he would use his hands, and we'd use that just like watching TV. He'd make motions, and we just sit there and we just watch. And we just take in all the stories he had. Some stories were serious. Sometimes they were funny stories, and we would laugh and laugh, but nothing to laugh like to be mean or ignorant or anything. No, just the way he spoke about things, the way he told the stories, and we visualize what he's telling us. And I had an opportunity to be with a lot of our elders. We have a lot of respect. My father always said, when you see an elder, even if you don't know that elder, you say hello, dance, atam skak, usam wigik skate and dance ketea. Some of them are lonely, and some of them might be grieving. You don't know how an elder feels, but when you go and you shake hands and katam skotsi, you don't know what you do to their heart. You give them a real healing feeling heart. Eta mehatsik katam skotsi muga katats kana kanepeusin kantokit tutat keteya. Muy kakiwita maki mayatanig te piagi emyosik mana evita keteya. An elder will never tell you anything bad. They will tell you things that will help you in the long run. But that's what I wanted to share when I was growing up. But I have my cousin Elsie here, and she kind of grew up in almost the same way, but in some parts in a Métis way, But and we're related to them. And I remember growing up, they lived in the Meadow Lake area, and my parents and all his kids would all go and would visit. If there was something happening like a powwow or something, we would go and visit there. It was always a blessing to go visit Nehio, that her grandma. That was her name. I always get really amazed that she was such a very clean lady. Even when she dressed up, she was like just so clean and peeling. And even though she was older, and she always had great hospitality. Like she would cook for us, feed us, and I would always listen with my parents. They would be visiting with them. They'd be laughing. They'd be telling stories. Like it was a very good feeling to go there each time. I still remember how the house looks like, and one time we went to visit, and she kept coming to me, like talking to me and everything. And here she had this in her mind, she can sleep with me in the bed or whatever. And then the old lady said, Kia gawipe mao oito, like, and she kept looking at me, and then I would look at her like, I don't know for the life of me why I didn't want to sleep with her.
I was so happy to have a friend, Mina.
And then it ended up I went and snuck where my mom and dad were sleeping on the foot of their bed, and she waited for a long time. But I don't know why I didn't want to sleep with her, but it ended up I never slept with her.
Uh, but we played together the
Yes,
next
we
day.
played together, but just couldn't sleep
My
with her.
friend.
So I'll pass it on to her, and she'll tell you a few things.
Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome.
I'm really honored and privileged to come here today and share a little bit about my experiences in my life. And it's also a great honor to sit here today, too, with all my relatives and friends here in the community. The story that I want to share for myself today, and I want to bring this forward to you, is growing up, I was raised in a very good home. In my home, there was never any alcohol. It wasn't allowed in my home. But that doesn't mean that we were not affected by it. We were. But I'm always so thankful that my grandmother and grandfather raised me, and I was raised around the old people and the old ways, and I was taught so much by them. And as I got older, I never realized how much teachings that you get when you sit down and you listen. Throughout my whole life, I have taken one teaching that my grandmother had given me. And I want to share it with you because in this life that we have, everybody has a free will. And a free will is that you can choose right over wrong. You have the right to make some of those choices. And I speak to some of the teenagers out there, those ones that are in grade 7, 8. Um, you're at an age where you're being faced with some of the things growing up with life, like puberty and all these different things coming at you. And I want to encourage you to listen to this, what my grandmother taught me. When I was growing up, I would get confused as I became a teenager. I would get confused about a lot of things in life. I would watch people and I would learn from them. And at that time, many of my older sisters, brothers were starting to party. It was in the 70s, and back then too, they were smoking dope and some were doing drugs. And I was being exposed to this. Not that I was doing it, but I was being exposed to it because I was watching my older siblings. And I was getting confused about that in life. And I talked to my grandma about it, and she told me, she said, Elsie, when you're walking through this life that you're walking through, right now you're a teenager and you're getting older and things are coming at you. I want you to remember this, she told me. And I said, what is that, Mom? And she said, Kispin ki man utna. If you want something in life and you feel good about it, pick it up, take it. If you see something and it's not right, kai utna, paknata. Don't pick it up. Don't carry it. Because what happens is that you have this free will she talked about. We have a right to choose. We have a mind that the Creator has given us. We can choose right over wrong. It's up to us. When you're faced with things in life, remember you have a right to choose right over wrong. And I pray that you always make the right choice. I'm going to talk a little bit about an elder. We talk about elders in our lives and the stories that they tell us. There was one elder in my life. I can't remember his first name now, but he was an elder from Waterhen, First Nation, and we were at a youth conference. And this was on the Flying Dust Reserve or in that area, and it was like a long time ago. I was 12 years old, and now I'm old. But I remember not liking alcohol. And the elder came in, and the first thing he said to the young people is he looked out into the crowd. I want you to know that you need to respect alcohol. He told me. I was really upset because I was very emotional. My mother was struggling with alcoholism, and I hated alcohol. And I thought, how can he say that to me? I got angry. I felt the anger coming up. How could he say that? There's nothing good about alcohol, it's bad. Then he spoke, and I listened. He said, alcohol is to be respected because it has a spirit. It can take your life, is what he said. I'll always remember those words all my life to this day, and I share them with you today. So when you become confused, when you start getting exposed and seeing things with your own eyes out there, remember, choose wisely. That those things out there, they have a spirit. They're not good. They take our people in a bad way. And that's what I want to share with you today, with all of you. Thank you for listening to me. Then, aksipitama, mustas.
Nice this.
Yeah. Thank you.
Over here.
Oh,
I,
Yeah, I'm-
I'm invisible. So. Look at invisible. I got the power.
you're powerful, almighty.
But anyways, that concludes our day 2, our storytelling, and I'd like to thank Tina Whitford, Huauta, I'll see what me. And I'm, please keep listening to these words. You can watch it. You can watch these on YouTube over and over again. If they have a big message or messages in their talking, and you gotta really listen and try to understand them. So with that, I would like to thank everybody, and we'll see you here again tomorrow at 10.
Ay,
Mustache.
ay, estás.